And there's nothing worse, I don't think, than feeling like you have no power over your own life. So in the MRI, there were a couple of findings. Hi everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's almost tonight, it's actually tonight. Yeah, it's 6:30 at night. It is a very rainy Saturday and I am not going anywhere, and I spent a lot of the day cleaning and now my body is on fire and I have a lot of anxiety. So I said, you know what, let me just sit down, do something, but I don't know what kind of makeup look I'm going to do. But I just want to talk to you guys about a few things. I'm going to put my hair back while I'm talking. I'm going to say this is not a video to garner sympathy. I am just talking about what's going on with me. I know so many of you out there, or if there is anyone new out there who's going to watch, everyone is going through something. Big or small, it doesn't matter. One thing is not more important than another, or just because one person is going through something really large doesn't mean that the other person, whatever they're going through, that is important. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of my videos lately, as I said, I've been talking about not great things and how, unfortunately, sorry, I got something in my eyeball. Things are just really bad right now, and so if I can share them and maybe someone out there is going through the same thing, they can offer me advice. We can offer each other advice in the comment section. It's just to, I don't know, to talk to you guys. I have been, as I said, really anxious, and when I'm that anxious, let me turn this down a little bit here, it's hard for me to film. I know I have to, and then that knowing that I have to get a video out there for my own reasons, for monetary reasons, I have to get a video out there, but then the anxiety of not feeling well and knowing that it's difficult for me to film has been making me not want to film, and it just snowballs, and it's a huge big thing. As I said, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm not going to do my whole skincare because that would just kind of be senseless. Yeah. Oh, hi, Win. Okay, she wants to say hello. Say hello, everyone, to Winter Cat, my tubby girl. She's chunky. You're a good girl. So it appears lately that every time I sit down here, she insists upon getting on my lap. I let it happen for a little while, but eventually I have to put it down because she does things like rub her face on my mirror, try to climb on my desk. I know she loves her mama, and her mama loves her, but it gets extremely difficult. And then I feel bad putting her down because she gives me that look like, Mama, what did I do? I'm just going to spray my face with the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist for just a little bit of something. Finishing up the last of my Good Molecules silicone free priming moisturizer. This was gifted to me by Good Molecules, but I have purchased many Good Molecules products in the past. It's one of the only companies that I do get consistent PR from, that they're not asking me to do something, they're sending it to me, and then if I use it and show it on camera, they're happy, and if I make sales, they're happy, but it's not a stipulation like so many emails that I get from companies that make me sign or want me to sign contracts for things, and all they're offering me is free products. So anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. I do want to use an eye cream, and I really like this stuff. This is from Tint Beauty and is their energizing eye cream. I like it because it acts kind of like, hold on, I rearranged my thing here, and it is really, oh my goodness, still not organized and is not conducive to much. But anyway, as I was saying, I really do like this because as you can see, it's indeed tinted, and it acts like a color corrector. I usually don't use this alone because my eyes are so dry, but even if I look like caca today, it's not going to matter because I'm just going to take it all off very shortly. but I'm not using it now because it's so expensive, but boy is it good. It is from City Beauty. I bought a bunch of their skincare quite a while ago, and some things were okay, but this is amazing. This is the lid lifting treatment. When I use this before my makeup, granted it is temporary, but it really does lift my eyes because my eyes have gotten extremely hooded, and like when I'm looking in the mirror, I can no longer see my mobile lid while I see the skin hanging over. Again, that's another video. I have so many issues, there are lots of videos to make. I will use a primer, and this is something that I got in one of my boxes. It's from Skin Inc. And it's a primer that's got those little baby beads in it, and of course they do burst when you put them on your skin. And it offers just a bit of glow or luminosity, but nothing so much that you feel like you have to immediately cover it up. I also want to use this Ulla Henriksen eye stick that I got, the Banana Bright. It also has been working very nicely for just, again, a little bit of color correcting. And it adds almost a primer. I wouldn't say it's moisturizing, but it does add a nice little primer for underneath my eyes. And what kind of gurgle was that there, Winnie Cat? Okay, my lazy ass is going to just spray my sponge with some Fix It Plus, because, you know, I'm just not in the mood to get up. Besides, I would disturb Winnie, and nobody wants me to do that, right? Yeah. I am trying to go through a bunch of these little baby foundations, especially that I don't even remember if I like them. This was a rather generous size. I don't even know where I got it, but it's from Bobbi Brown. I do know that it's too light, so I'm going to use something else to darken it up. See, like, yeah, that's just a wee bit, a tad bit too light. So I know I said in the past that I don't mind mixing my foundations. Did I mention that it's really kind of getting on my nerves lately? This Studio Makeup from, actually it's a tinted moisturizer. Studio Makeup is, I think, the actual company, but it is really too dark. So I'm just going to add a, whoa, that was a bit much. Oh, yeah, that didn't work out so well, so we're just gonna, I feel like Meredith Duxbury.
You guys, I'm so excited for today. It's gonna be wild.
How does that girl do her makeup like that? You can't tell me that in normal light that girl looks anything human with the amount of foundation that she puts on her face and other products. It's kind of gross to me. Did that work? Is that any better? Eh? Does it matter at this point? No. No, it does not. You know? Huh? I think with the color being right, she's kind of nice. Is it that the tinted moisturizer thinned out the foundation, and is that why I'm liking it? I don't know, but I won't mind using that combination if it looks good. So, let's talk about the real elephant in the room. My health is not doing well. My health has been failing me tremendously, and I already have to add more here. I don't even know where to start, that there's so many things. The amount of pain that I have been experiencing, I still can't feel my feet, and my feet are still in pain since last June. Do you remember when I was walking with the cane when I was looking for apartments? It's gotten better that I no longer at least need the cane, but my balance is terrible. I've taken quite a few many falls recently because my balance is so awful. The amount of doctor's appointments I have been having to attend is obnoxious, and I've been having to take time off of work. And granted, I do get time off, but I'm running out of days because they don't accommodate people with lives and jobs. Now remember, I get out at 3:30, so you would think I would be able to get appointments that I could make at 3:30. Nope, so many of them, like the last appointment is like 2 o'clock, which again is frustrating. Now the job that I don't get paid for if I don't show up is my teaching at the private music school. And that's been difficult because some of the appointments, like they're only there on one particular day. And again, I've had to miss, and when I don't show up there, I don't get paid, which is just, well, part of the whole other problem. You know, I really kind of like this. I'm going to have to like keep those two together so I can remember the conversation. I have to do it. Hello, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Maybe I need a mental evaluation as well. The combination of those two. So when I walk, not only do I have the neuropathy, which means my feet are, and calves, and a lot of my legs, but thank goodness a lot of that has resolved itself, but my feet never did. I still have extreme neuropathy, but along with that neuropathy where you have numbness so that you really can't feel things, it feels like I'm walking on golf balls. Like take golf balls and put them between the pad of your foot and your toes, underneath your toes, and then try to stuff your foot in a shoe and walk, and that's what it feels like. It is painful. Occasionally it will feel like I'm walking on glass, and then that will go to that golf ball stepping on type of pain, and it never ever goes away. With the latest MRI that I just had, it shows a huge progression in the MS. Now, I've had MS for going on 20 years, 19 and a half years, and I've done fairly well. I've had my issues, but most of it has been tolerable for the most part. I will not say completely, because it's really not. It's nothing that you want to live with, but I always kept strong and I always stayed strong and I just keep going. And lately, I can't anymore. I haven't been able to exercise because of the pain and the fatigue. The fatigue, I can't describe the amount of fatigue that I have. Any type of exertion that, I was talking about the MRI, and I'm going to get to that. So any type of exertion, whether it's cleaning, sweeping the floor, whatever I do, my back is on fire. When I try to exercise, my legs are so numb whenever I get off the stepper or the treadmill that they're vibrating so much that I lose my balance and I'll fall. So it's been very difficult to exercise, and I've gained quite a bit of weight just in the past year. I looked at a video of mine from a year ago, and if I can remember which video it was, I'm just going to find one. The change in the way I look from that video a year ago, and that video was before I got COVID and before my dad died. It was about a month before. For $125, it should actually walk itself onto my skin and also give me a massage while it's at it. I'm like, the change, I don't even look like the same person. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even tell you. I am trying to see if I like or dislike the IT Cosmetics Bye Under Eye illuminating stuff. I wore this the other day, and although, as you can see, it looks quite pretty, even with setting it, it like creased like there was no tomorrow. So I want to see if I'm going to continue to keep it in my drawer or get rid of it. I've been brutal. I've been just throwing stuff out left and right. I should really film it, but like I don't even care. I just want to like throw it out in frustration. So in the MRI, there were a couple of findings. I just got this Ciate London pressed translucent. Is this a setting powder? Yeah, this is setting powder. The pressed translucent setting powder. This is some of my L'Oreal Cosmetics brushes. Haven't used them in a while. I found a whole bunch of my other brushes that were in a box somewhere. Oh, why did I do this? Because I wanted to use I should have put on, I was going to put on some concealer here. Again, I don't care now. If you look, I don't like the way this powder just sat on my face. It's like, it kind of just sits in my pores. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Let me try this MBO. It says Ultimate Finish setting powder. This also came in an Ipsy bag. Okay, this one's a little bit better. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier. The MRI showed not only a huge progression in the advancement of the disease of my MS, but it also showed a hyper-progressive spinal stenosis, which I wasn't aware about. I know what spinal stenosis is. It is a narrowing of the spine, and as the spine narrows, the spinal cord gets squished. And what has also happened is I now have a herniated disc, I think on C3 in my neck, which is why I am also constantly in pain. I wake up in pain, I go to sleep in pain. During the day I have pain. You know, I often talk about how it is going through everything alone. I've dealt with my health and the bad news that I've gotten from my health situations all along. And I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush with my Lower East Side bronzer. I really love this for like a light contour. I've dealt with it alone. I've been dealing with it alone. But you know, when you constantly get really bad health news and you sit in your doctor's office and you're ready to cry because of what you're hearing, and you don't have anybody to reach over and squeeze their hand and get support, and you come home and you cry alone and there's nobody to put their arms around you and say, we'll get through this together. What am I trying to say? I'm not saying that, and I know lots of people are alone. I'm not saying I can't get through it alone, but I guess I'm tired of being alone, and yet I don't feel like I will ever have anybody, but because I don't think I'm worthy. I honestly do not think I'm worthy of someone's love. I have just a couple of family members who watch this channel, and those are the only couple of family members who actually speak to me in real life. I'm also going to use my LYS bronzer in Motivate. It is the powdered one. There is a situation going on that is really bad involving families. And honestly, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm not a bad person. I care about people. I may not be the perfect of anything because I don't think anyone is, but I haven't done anything to warrant what is occurring. I'm going to use my Melt Cosmetics Daydreamer. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff, let me tell you. I'm also using a Luxie Beauty brush. I just tapped this on my hand because, as you can see, it is extremely pigmented. The one thing I can say is that I really miss my parents, especially my mom, because I felt like my mom would be protecting me right now, you know? I'm kind of liking my makeup and I'm going nowhere. Isn't that like always the case? When you have some place to go, your makeup looks like caca, and then when you don't, your makeup, unless I'm mistaken, could be, I just kind of like it, and I got nowhere to go. Anyway, so I am now setting up for some physical therapy to try to help with some of my balance issues and some of my pain issues. So that's another thing that I have to do. This stuff is going in the garbage. It creases like there is no tomorrow. I got the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette, I think in my Ipsy bag for like the Beauty Boost or whatever, maybe 2 months ago. It has the metal, yeah, this is metal, or is it, yeah, it's metal. Or is it plastic? Metal? Whatever it is, it's a nice textured palette, and I don't know, it's like every other Too Faced palette, but yummy. As far as the obliterated disc in my neck, I don't know what they're going to, if anything, about it. But I said the constant pain that I'm in is just makes me miserable. Take this one, I'm going to zoom in, cannot read the names. I'm not even bothering to put on eye primer. If anything, maybe I'll take myself to Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut and some coffee. Now, I'm sure what contributed to a lot of the pain, and who knows how much more damage I did to the disc in my neck, was me having to move all the stuff from my house alone. Yes, I did get a couple of days when I had some assistance, but for the most part, it was just me. And that's the other thing that is causing me tremendous wow. Tremendous? I said tremendous, didn't I? Tremendous, intense stress. I got the words out. Remind me to mention how also doctors don't understand certain things. I'm going to talk about the house, but can I just tell you, for me, I've noticed such a decline in my cognitive ability. Yes, I leave a lot of things in, but you have no idea how much I actually cut out of my just words leaving me. I will stop and I cannot even find the most simplest of words, never mind complex ones. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't as far as my recall. But let me tell you, it's frustrating because it impedes me at work. It causes me so much stress. And the doctor who hasn't been my doctor for the whole time, they don't know me. So like, oh, you sound fine to me. Your cognitive abilities sound fine. It's like, but you don't know who I was. This is not who I was. This is not who I am. I don't know who I am anymore. And it's heartbreaking to me. Using a little baby Morphe brush because I want something deeper in the corner. I'm going to use this chocolate brown. I know I'm going super simple, but again, it's not so much about the makeup. I have nightmares about my house. I unfortunately had to leave so much behind in the house. And I know I've mentioned it briefly, but you have no idea. Remember, my parents lived in that house for about 50 years. I moved back 10 years ago, but I grew up there. So much of my childhood was in that house. When I moved out, I took most of my necessary things, but there was a lot left in the house, and I would go back and I would move stuff, and it was, you know, I would do what I can, but I'm one person. And one person going back to the house over and over again. Not only was it emotionally draining, it was physically draining. And, you know, as long as the house was there, as long as I still had a connection, and I still could go back to the house, I was connected to my parents. Now that the house is gone, I've not only lost the house that meant so much to my parents, I feel like I'm losing my parents all over again. I said I wasn't going to go anything dramatic with my eyes, and look at me. Anyway, I was given basically at the end, it's a little by little, you know, I was doing it, but moving the stuff and putting it in the storage and going through it, you know, it takes time. And also, you know, alone, it's when you have help with it, people can help you make decisions, but I felt paralyzed with being able to make decisions on what to keep, what to donate. But I can tell you that, remember when I had the flood, so many of the donate boxes I had stacked up. A lot of it got ruined. I was able to salvage some stuff, but there were things still in my room, my old room, and in the attic, and even in my parents' bedroom that I hadn't gotten to yet. All of a sudden I was told I had a couple of days, and that was it. And I went into panic mode. I had to take time off of work. And the problem is, I can't tell you, endless trips to my storage unit and stuffing my car full. But taking the stuff out of my car up to the storage unit, again, my body can only do so much. People tend to forget that I have MS. Either they forget or they just don't care. So the very last day, when I knew this was my last-ditch effort to get anything I wanted from the house, my car was stuffed. I had made already 3 trips to the storage unit, and I knew I could do no more. It had been about 10 hours. And I'm in the house hysterical crying because I'm looking at everything, and there are places I hadn't even gotten to. I hadn't even gotten to the basement. When I think about the things that I left in that basement, it destroys me. It haunts me. I have nightmares. I think about it, it's like a stabbing motion through my soul when I think about the stuff that I left there that is either now in the garbage or somebody's took. It just, the constant heartbreak never ever ends. It never goes away. But that last day, as I'm in the house for the last time, that I knew I was leaving forever, I stood there and I looked around and I picked stuff up and I put it down, because when I tell you that my car was stuffed, I brought I had to make decisions, and I brought a bunch of stuff out to the car, and then I got to the car and I realized all this stuff isn't going to fit. So in the middle of my driveway, I'm hysterically crying, and I'm looking at my car and I'm pulling stuff out and having to decide, keep it or not keep it, save it or don't save it. And I wound up like just throwing stuff out of my car, stuff that I wanted to keep, but I was just throwing it on the ground in the driveway, saying, what are you going to keep? What are you going to save? And what destroys me is that I sat there alone and did this. And when I tell you I couldn't fit another thing in my car, you can fit a mouse in my car. Even my passenger side was filled to the top. I could not see out my passenger window to the right. I couldn't see out of my back window. That's how full everything was. And my storage unit is so stuffed to the max that I literally couldn't fit another thing in there. So now I had to come home and go through things because I have a tiny apartment and make more agonizing decisions about what I was going to keep and what I was not going to keep. This looks like a pretty color, whatever it may be. I'm using my Sonia G brush. Thank you, my friend. No wet brush, no glitter glue needed there. As long as that house was still standing, my parents were still alive. My parents were still, I was still connected to them. So now every day is a new agonizing stab at the heart of what else I left behind, because I keep saying, oh, I didn't check that area. I didn't go through that area. And when I think about the stuff in the attic, and not only my parents' stuff, but again, my stuff from that was mine in my room, I had to leave so much behind. I couldn't take my desk with me that I wanted to take. All of my parents' antique furniture I couldn't take, and now that's in the garbage. And I'm mad at a few people for all of this. Again, I don't want to mention names because there's only so much I can mention legally. We're going to put it that way. Putting this above my brow bone. I think it's got a weird hue, but I'm going to do it anyway. People keep telling me that they're just things. I'm well aware that they're just things. But my choices were robbed from me. My choices were taken away from me. Time was taken away from me. I feel like everything has been taken away from me because I don't have control over anything anymore. I'm using an e.l.f. brow pencil. I said, yes, it's the things, because I wasn't given the opportunity to truly make all of the choices that I wanted to make with them. But in these situations, it's very easy to feel powerless. And there's nothing worse, I don't think, than feeling like you have no power over your own life. The situation that has followed that situation with the house is the one that I can't fully discuss. But it only got worse after that. While I'm going through my own turmoil, someone else is creating more turmoil for me. And I am extremely grateful for my friends, because without my friends, I wouldn't have a lot. So I know that I'm not completely alone. But I think you can understand that it's not the same. And I know they're not trying to replace my family that I've lost. I'm using the Shades by Shan eyeliner. I just eyelined my nose. Only me. I just saw that I have to blend this a little bit. It's a little bit harsh, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a Fenty Fly liner. It's a liquid liner, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to regret it. We're going to find out. Yeah, that worked out okay. I didn't want to do much with it anyway. I'm also trying to see if I like some of these other things. I'm going to use my iconic London. What is this? It's called the Glaze Chaser. I like the blush, but a lot of these highlighters, like that one's way too dark for me. Let me see how this one is. It's... Can you even see it? Probably not. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. So I'm having to deal with the absolute agony that these memories keep bringing back to me. Like I keep getting that stab again every time I think of something. And it's torturous. I can't even go into the supermarket anymore because every time I see a food item, it reminds me of my mom or my dad. I can't make frozen pizza because it reminds me of my dad. When I make coffee, I think of my sister. Everything I'm touching, everything I'm doing has this constant, nagging, horrifying effect on me that I can't live my life peacefully. Do you remember in my other video when I said that I desperately want peace? Now you understand why I'm desperately craving the peace. I love the Serao glossy lip balm in the watermelon. It smells so yummy. And honestly, it's just tinted enough that you don't have to wear anything else if you don't want to. I don't think I'm going to put on lipstick because I just despise the way lipstick looks on me. The only one I've been loving is my, what is it, the ABH, the peachy one. Maybe I will. Do I want to put it on? I don't know. First I got to spray my face. Let's take care of that. Let's use some Tower 28, the Daily Rescue Facial Mist. You know, it'll rescue me a lot, I think. You know what? Maybe I'll just put a little bit of my Pat McGrath gloss on. The little duo that I got in my Ipsy. It's okay, but honestly, it's a little bit patchy. And I either want a gloss to be pigmented or I want it to be sheer. I don't want it to be milky and patchy, if that makes sense. There are so many drugstore mascaras I've been loving lately, and one of them is the Colossal mascara from Maybelline. So good. I am, of course, going to use a primer because that's what I like. I happen to be using the Lancôme de Finicils. I got it half price, which is the only reason I have it. It does look good even without primer, by the way. The other thing I forgot to mention with my MS, I said there's been just so much that I forgot to talk to you about it, is that after a year, it's been almost a year, that I finally got approved for my Ocrevus, which is an MS medication. It's an infusion that you get a few times a year. It's a long process. Basically, it's kind of like going to get a cancer treatment where you have to sit and get this infusion. It takes quite a few hours. I think the first one is going to take like 5 or 6 hours. But my insurance company over and over and over again, and oops, it did clumpies on me, over and over and over again, denied it. So I just want to show you, that's one coat, guys. Aside from just the little clump that was there, there's no clumping in the actual application of the mascara. I love this stuff. I'm never gonna buy a high-end mascara again. So the insurance company, even though I have extremely good insurance, did not want to pay for it. And I found out why. Because I got a call. I am going to be getting some assistance with the copay. And when I found out how much they were assisting me with, it made me say, why are they offering me so much assistance? How much is it going to cost me out of pocket? I hope you're sitting down. A year of the medication is $80,000. I did say $80,000. And what gets me is, do you know why it's $80,000? Because pharmaceutical companies like to advertise on TV that costs them millions of dollars. Maybe instead of advertising on TV, where like, why would a person want to go and say, ooh, this is the drug I'd like to have. I'm not a medical professional, but I saw it on TV. Instead of doing that and charging $80,000 a year for a medication that people need so they can be well, maybe stop advertising on TV and lower the cost of the medication. The assistance that I'm getting, because I don't make a bad salary, but I sure am not rich or even upper middle class, okay? So I make a decent salary, barely livable in this area, but for most people, a livable salary. I qualify for $500 assistance. We won't discuss how much I'm going to have to pay out of pocket. I won't know the exact number until I go to my appointment, which the first one, the only place that I could go was a place in the South Bronx. come from the South Bronx. I'm not worried about that. But I could only go to one place, at least in New York. We went through like 10 different ones that the insurance company would not approve. And honestly, depending upon how much it is, I may or may not be able to do the treatment. But I'll jump off that bridge when I get to it. She said it could be up to $1,500 out of pocket for me. They would supplement $500 of that. But again, it's a little bit of a waiting game until I have my appointment. So on a happier note, I think I like my makeup. Do I like my makeup? You know? I really kind of do. Well, see, there's always a silver lining. There's always some type of happy ending. And this is it for me. Hopefully you guys won't say, Leann, your makeup look like crap. What are you talking about? And then crush my feelings. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I kind of like it, but I respect you guys. I never get upset if you guys disagree with me because I don't want to live in an echo chamber. I like opposing opinions. And speaking of opposing opinions, anything you want to throw in there, your experiences, what you're going through, I would love to share and support. I want to give as much support to you guys as you give to me because you are all amazingly wonderful people, as you know. And of course that, is going to lead me right into, my ending here. I love you guys tremendously. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me, supporting me, and just being the people that you are. I love you tremendously. And of course, whatever part of the world you're in and around, hope you're having an amazing day or an amazing night, depending upon when you're watching this. I will see you real soon. Hopefully, let's all pray together that I have some positive news to share really soon. Love you guys. Bye.